Jason, as you mentioned, telling us last night, you cannot be afraid of PDW.
He said if you're afraid of Pete Weber when you bowl him, he'll be all over you like a raptor on a pork chop, so you better pack a lunch.
Well, Jason, who missed the cut in Dallas last week, first one missed in 2002 and left an incredibly bad taste in his mouth. Came in here with a vengeance. You know, he spun the pin around, just wouldn't go down.
That ball just a little high, leaving the sixth pin. Nice part about this telecast for Jason Couch is he's the only left-hander. He's the only guy that's going to affect the shot or his shot on his side of the lane. So in practice, what he's trying to do is trying to break the lane down, give himself a little bit of room, a little margin for error, not only at the arrows, but down at the break point.
Opens up with a spare, gets the butterflies out. Here's a man that has won 27 titles, including 2 this season. Has won over $2,300,000. Pete Weber, 39 years old, out of St. Ann, Missouri. Was the Rookie of the Year some 22 years ago. Member of the PBA Hall of Fame back in '98. Was inducted into that honor. Oh, look out. With the sunglasses on again, it's become his trademark.
You know, the thing about watching Pete Weber bowl is the only thing you look for is whether or not he has a good ball reaction. And if he has a good ball reaction, Pete Weber, I can't remember the last time I saw Pete physically bowl bad or throw it bad. You know, the only time he bowls bad is when his ball is going every which way. And a lot of times, you know, there's just so many adjustments you can make to where it just doesn't matter. But this guy, 9 times out of 10, always yells it good.
Especially on television. Well, Jason has changed his form over the last year, has he not? Pete's letting us know he's here.
Well, he's worked with his coach, Richard Shockley, on a couple of things. One's lowering his rev rate, and one's not overthrowing it. Take a look at 2001, how the heel of his slide foot is off the ground. Take a look now where it's planted on the ground. What this does is it keeps him from overthrowing and over-revving it, 2 things that he really likes to do.
How important was it for him to get that strike with Pete working on 2?
Well, it's real important. You know, Pete's got a double. It's still early in the match, but I think the most important thing is just Jason's ball getting to the 1-2 pocket. You got to have a chance. I mean, you got to have a chance. You got to get your ball into the 1-2. You know, carry is another thing. Obviously, you determine the correct ball in line to play, speed, rotation, revolutions to enable yourself to strike when your ball does get to the pocket.
You know, 2 weeks ago, we saw him bowl on television. Randy, it was not a good appearance. He was very disappointed in himself.
Well, this ball just cuts right through the heart. One of the things that Jason told me last night was he was going to try to keep his hand under the ball to control the direction, the change of direction down the lane. Watch this ball break real sharp in the back end. And that's not necessarily a bad shot. It's a question of your hand staying under it versus rotating around the side of the ball a ½ inch.
Down by 10. Maybe. Oh, baby! Put it in the book.
Going nowhere. Oh,
that's a statement there. Pete, I'm not going nowhere.
I'm not going nowhere. Watch this. This is a great spare. Oh, no. No open frames. Keeps him in the match. It's early still. He's working on a double. But you know what? Pete can answer Jason's statement like 2 strikes right here for a 4-bagger.
And if the strikes here, will go up by 20.
Don't go anywhere. We're ready for some fireworks here.
Oh, man. I love it.
All right. He gets this next hit. Look out. Come on now. Coming right at you. Look at that ball. The rotation of that. Pete Weber release.
This is to go up by 30. The number 2 man on the PBA's all-time money-winning list, trailing only Walter A. Williams. Oh, he got away with one.
What a great break. You heard Pete say when it left his hand that was left. Ball just lays, holds its line, trips the 4-pin. What a phenomenal break when you're working on 3 in a row. Gets the love tap, trip 4. Bowler's best friend.
4 in a row. now for Pete Weber. Jason must answer here. Come on, come on.
Well, the ball's just not pushing far enough down the lane before it starts to grab hold and turn right.
You know, Randy, but it's a long pattern, and we have seen Jason a lot more comfortable with these longer patterns. He doesn't look that comfortable right now.
Well, Jason's kind of an exception to the rule because most of the left-handers like to play out. They grew up playing out. They like to play the outside line, giving them a better angle. Jason loves to play in, and the long pattern allows that.
Three-rack. Do I take it?
Just a reminder, the PBA National Championship will be coming up in just a couple of weeks. We'll be coming to you from something that Earl Anthony used to own. A record 6 times he won the national championship, and in those 6 years, he won $123,000 total. This year's champion, $120,000 for one victory. That's at the World Championship, the Southwick Lanes in Toledo, Ohio, on March 3rd, 12:30 Eastern Time, right here on ESPN.
They should have named a city in Toledo after Earl. He was so dominant there.
Fans are great up in Toledo, too. Jason got away with one.
Well, Coach Richard Shoffey from Kegel Training Center standing next to me working on the CATS, the computer-aided tracking system. He's done a lot of work with Jason Couch, and he just told me that Jason needs to keep his emotions calm.
Well, you know, that's something you and I have talked about every time we've had Jason on the telecast, that he has to harness that emotion because he does feed off the crowd.
Got to figure out a way to just stay, and it's really hard because Jason's a high-octane player, gets fired up. He's got to keep his emotions intact.
Well, Pete Weber has been bowling quite well. He just hasn't been winning matches, which is part of the new format. Is Tracy, his wife, just off that trip to Hawaii with Pete for a little R&R, a little honeymoon type action.
Yeah, must be nice. I didn't get invited.
I went to Philly by myself.
Oh, they just got back from Hawaii. Pete said he felt real refreshed. Said he came into this week, you know what, with not real high expectations. Said if he bowled great, fine. If not, no big deal. Use the week for practice and move on to the next tournament. But he also told me last night that he came into this week